Hello, loves. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the weekly healing circle. Let me get TikTok started so we can get started on the weekly messages. Let me just make sure I grab all the cards. Because sometimes, yeah. Yeah, no, that's the other one. Okay. Okay. I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to the weekly healing circle. What a day. What a day. So the moon's in Virgo. It went into Virgo after this very potent moon and Leo that we've been absolutely navigating. It's been an experience for sure. I hope that you guys are having a good, post moon chaos. I know there's been like a lot of things going on. The energy just gets really intense during this time, so it can be a very overall it can feel very, very intense. But we're gonna check in on the energies for this upcoming week. This week should be very, very interesting for many reasons. For many reasons. There's also going to be, wait, one second. And let me just, there we go. And boom. Okay, sorry, had to do that. There's going to be, so one of my Patreon members asked to do a Valentine's Day breakdown, like the energy. So we're going to do that. There's going to be a video that's going to be posted on that. I just posted a video today on YouTube on specifically working with birthday candles for spell work. So that was posted on YouTube. If you're following me on TikTok, make sure you're following me on YouTube. The link to my YouTube will be in my bio. So definitely make sure you watch that video. But there's going to be a Valentine's Day breakdown video because it's an important one. They also asked to do a new astrological year breakdown, but I'm going to do that closer to like Aries season because that is the beginning of the astrological year. So stay tuned for that jazz. So those are some of the updates. Also, don't forget to sign up for the herbalism workshop. That's happening on Wednesday. We will be starting about 10 to 15 minutes before 5 o'clock. It's going to be a very intensive workshop, but definitely make sure you come through. And yeah, everybody is definitely welcome. Wait, I'm trying to do the comment. Sorry. You're almost never you almost never go live. I go live on Mondays generally, and mainly on Wednesdays, but I've kind of been doing it on YouTube more than TikTok lately. But I do go live. I just don't go live every day like some creators do on here, which is fine because your girl has readings to do. Like I can't just like be on live every single day. For many reasons. I could probably do like more lives though. Maybe 3 a week or something like that. Oh, talking about more lives, we're going to do the weekly prayer circle as well. So stay tuned for that. So those who are Patreon members, you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, with that being said, let's check in on the energies for this week. What does Spirit want us to know for this week? What does Spirit want us to know for this week? There's also a reason why I I named this live Preparation for Greatness. There's a reason for that. We're going to talk about it. Ooh. There is an absolute reason for that. Collectively, Mm. Preparation for greatness is the name of this live when it comes to the weekly healing circle. Bottom of the deck is the High Priestess, the Three of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and the Fool. Okay, there's a reason why I call this live preparation for greatness. Okay, there's a pretty big reason why I called it that. And that's because it's actively what's happening. Underneath that, by the way, it's the World card. Like underneath the Fool energy, it's a World card. It's definitely a time where a lot of things are shifting. It's a time where some people are definitely accepting some truth. So this is also why the High Priestess is the bottom of the deck, the underlying energies for this week. There's a lot more control and there's a lot more focus on acting upon what you already know, but also working with what you got. There is a preparation for greatness because you already know the work that has to get done in order for you to get to where you want to be. There is definitely a lot of reevaluations happening right now. There's a mental clarity that's breaking through right now, which is great because it is also, it's Aquarius season, y'all. Do you expect anything different? Do you expect anything less? No, you shouldn't. You should expect exactly that. Now, let us look at the cards for this week. The first card is the Nine of Wands. Okay, then we have the Moon, and then we have the Five of Swords. Okay, then we have the Lovers in reverse, the Five of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups, the Ten of Cups, the Hangman, and the Two of Wands. Okay. Now, this week, there's a lot of things going on because next week is it's a holiday. It's a holiday that tends to be a little bit triggering to some people because for those who are not in a relationship, Valentine's Day can seem like a very annoying day. And it can seem like, like I can't celebrate, I can't partake, I can't, it has this vibe of not being able to have something that you're definitely wanting, or feeling lonely, feeling alone, feeling neglected, feeling like you can't really vibe or celebrate like others can. Okay, so there's this energy of loneliness. There's also this energy of not having your other half, like not just like, and I'm not talking about being in a back and forth, like a just dating around energy. I'm talking about an actual committed relationship. When it comes to this season and this energy in February, it triggers a lot of people to kind of feel very downish, feel very alone, feel very frustrated about being alone. It can be a very frustrating time. And so it's going to ultimately trigger some of you to, be uncomfortable with the fact that everybody gets to kind of celebrate and everybody gets in this mood, but like you're not. And this is for who it applies, because obviously it's not going to apply to everybody, but this is for whom it shall concern, whom it shall apply. There is a good chunk of you guys that are not partnered up or are not in a committed relationship and are feeling irritated by it. There's a lot of emotions coming, like what the truth is. Like at the end of the day, this is the reason why this is coming up. It's because of the Pisces energy, especially in the chart right now. The Pisces energy in the chart is very, very significant. because it leans into the daydreams, it leans into the romantic, it leans into the wanting things to be in a certain way, like thinking of it like a movie, like, oh my God, if it only was like this, if it only was this way, like it's that. There's a lot of being in here, and then, you know, being like frustrated about, you know, but why? And then because the Nine of Wands is the wands of trauma, it's the card of trauma. Okay, because it's the card of trauma, it can feel very heavy in a very particular way, because it's almost like, yes, you would love to be in a great partnership, but you also been through a lot of shit, and you're just like, ugh. There's like a reeling in, but there's also this like, oh, you know, like this kind of innocence, but at the same time, this I think you guys know what I mean. I think you guys know what I mean with this card. So through that process of, you know, being in your head, feeling a lot of things, ebbing and flowing, feeling kind of down with the season, feeling like you don't really understand, you know, why you're not partnered up yet, all of these kind of questions that you have. And then feeling a little bit beat up by the energy itself, and by like what's happening, and by, you know, everybody else's energy who is not in the same position as you are. There's a little bit of a weight on commitment there. Now, what I would say to the people who are, hold on, I'm gonna put TikTok on hotspot, because for some reason it keeps going in and out. So we're just going to do that, because the thing. So when it comes to the focus, for people who are not partnered up, for people who are not in a relationship, but are like, you know, feeling pretty down about the energy, feeling pretty down about not being able to partake with everybody else, there is a different focus there. Okay, and there should be. There at some point this week, try to reevaluate and, you know, set a different intention for what it is that you should be thinking about. Especially with the Page of Cups leading into the Ten of Cups in this way. The Ten of Cups is the happily ever after card. This card is like, if you look at it, it's just like emotional fulfillment, emotional. Mind you, this is the after tarot. Okay, I'm using the after tarot. I'm not using the right away. I'm using the after tarot, which is the deck that specifically focuses on the moment after each card in the Rider Waite. So the energy of each card is slightly a little bit different. So when it comes to the Ten of Cups, is that continuation of the happily ever after, because in the Ten of Cards in the regular deck, it's kind of like the celebration, but it kind of brings it to the night, and it has these stars here, and it's just like, oh, it's a dream come true. Like the way that it's happening, it's this romantic, happily ever after kind of vibe. Having the Page of Cups, okay, come out in the way that it is. The Page of Cups is the beginning of something. Okay, the Page of Cups is the beginning of its feelings, or an intention, or a notion, or a crush, or a just like the way you're feeling gravitated or leaning towards something. It is very innocent energy. It's like you wanting what you want. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting what you want. However, there's a reason why I call this life preparation for greatness. I keep saying that. Because you guys should actively, instead of leading yourself down the pathway of sitting with, you know, okay, loneliness and feeling like, oh my God, but I want this, but also I don't know, I'm a little vulnerable from some past relationships because they were like a hot mess, like, girl. I totally get that. Obviously, that's understandable. But at the same time, your vision of the future shouldn't be tainted by the past in this way. This is a really, really great time for you to sit with yourself. There's a reason why the Hangman is a card after the Ten of Cups. You need to sit with yourself and you see how this person is giving water to the person that's like in the Hangman position. Because again, this is the after tarot. Like the Hangman in regular right away is just in thought, hung up in thoughts. But there's this feeding of water here. There's this nourishment that's happening through the illumination that the Hangman has been going through. There's this nourishment that's happening. And so right now, it is important for you to nourish yourself. Okay. With the first cup, that ultimately what you want is to be these tens. You're trying to multiply this energy. You're trying to get from point A to point Z. It is a journey. It's a whole alphabet. But I didn't say it wasn't doable. I think when it comes to this week, when it comes to this energy, you might have moments where you're just like, ugh. And that's totally fine. That's understandable. But what have you learned from past relationships? What do you need to leave behind? What habits do you not want to see in others moving forward into things that you want to manifest for yourself, things that you want to experience? Like, what don't you want to see? What do you wish you can see? What do you wish you could have? Whether it's more support, whether it's more open conversations, whether it's more like easy, like the easy flow to the relationship. Like, what is it that you want to see? Sit on that. Sit on the things that your soul needs right now. Because there are things that you experienced, right? That you experienced that actively were for that specific time. They're not something that you can go back to now. So what is it that you need to process now? So that moving forward into the next thing, you can have a little bit more clarity, feel a little bit more openness, feel a little bit less like, shut in, like, I don't know, can I trust you? Should I, would I, could I don't know. Instead of feeling like apprehensive or like, I don't know, feeling a little bit more like, you know what? This is the future I envisioned. This is the journey that I called forth, that I envisioned for myself. This is the next step. Like, I already set the expectation for how this was going to move forward. And now that we are moving forward, this is where we're at. Okay. So when you look at the bottom of the deck, there is a clear journey and there's a liberation. There needs to be a liberation too of the thoughts that have been, the things that didn't work. Oh my God, why didn't this work? Why didn't this relationship work? What was the issue? Who was the problem? Who is to blame? Like, all of these things, if you're trying to head into the next thing, you need to bring it to a closure. There's a reason why Saturn, by the World card, is underlining this energy. You see that Two of Cups? You see that Ten of Pentacles coming right after? There's a reason why the underlying energy is the way it is, because you need to make peace with what happened in the past and accept the fact that you need something else in the future. And that's totally fine. And it is okay. It's perfectly fine. And it is okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? It is important right now to get comfortable with the vision that you have for your future. Get comfortable with how you want to feel in the future. Get comfortable with your experience, because you're going to have to put in the work spiritually. I mean, you're going to have to put in the work. That includes cutting the swords that need to be cut. That includes setting boundaries, especially when it comes to the past, especially when it comes to, like, let's say, within your dreams, you're getting a lot of dreams of like ex or something like that, or you're thinking about, or something's haunting you, a moment is still haunting you, like those things that are not actively changing anything about your life experience right now, they need to be addressed in a very much like, okay, we're cutting the cord. We're cutting the cord. Like I said, this is the after tarot. This is the moment that comes after. She was never meant to stay bound up, surrounded by swords that she could have very well used to get out of them. Okay. She was meant to be liberated. But there was a trap here. There was a feeling of being trapped. And you have to accept if you have been in the position where it feels like an emotion, a person, a moment in time has been keeping you trapped. And now you're just like, okay, but I need to accept that nothing's ever going to come into fruition from this. Like, it's not, is anything going to change? If nothing is going to change in regards to this, why are we still feeding it? Okay, yeah. That's where we're at. Why are you still, because there's still this, it's happening. It's still happening. Why are we still feeding it? Hold your vision. Use this energy differently. Instead of allowing things to haunt you that really have no place haunting you, just use the energy differently. Transmute it. Accept the fact that it needs to be changed. Accept the fact that it comes into your consciousness. It's your consciousness trying to signal to you that this is still bothering you and you need to do something about how you feel. Preparation for greatness. What does that mean? How are you preparing yourself for greatness? How are you setting yourself up for success? Like, if we know this is this is the vision, right? We know this. We know it's this. We know this is the vision. How are you going to get here? How are you getting to the 10 of Cups? What efforts are you making if you're still just feeding like your emotions to your ex and that you know it's never going to work out and you've been needed to let go in the first place? Like, how is that feeding into your future? How is that feeding into your greatness, your great life, your purposeful life? How is that feeding into it? It's not. Okay, let's just state the obvious. It's not. So what is it that you need to be doing now to prepare yourself for that greatness? Okay, what is it that you need to be doing? Some of you need to like do some cord cutting, honestly, this week. Valentine's Day is also a really great time to set intention for a relationship that you want. You have to understand, when it comes to these social collective days, there's different ways that you can work with them. Because Valentine's Day is notorious for being very much a day of love, you can tap into that love vibration on said day and make it a day where you manifest what you want romantically. Instead of sitting behind and like hating everybody else or feeling jealous or feeling like, why does everybody else get to do this and I don't get to? Like, fuel it towards that vision. Be like, oh, you know what? By next year, I'm gonna have Valentine's Day, and I'm gonna have Valentine's. They're gonna be amazing, and they're gonna be my Valentine, and they're gonna be sweet, or they're gonna like start planting that greatness that you want to experience, instead of sulking on the thing that you know expired. Like, you're keeping this in the fridge and it expired. It's done. It expired. And what it's doing is that it's stinking up your fridge. Okay, it's stinking it up. And every time you open the fridge, you get this like woof of it, and it's just like, but it needs to. You need to throw it away. You need to throw it away. If you're gonna get to this, you gotta throw away. You gotta throw it away. It's time. It's time to take out the trash so you could prepare for greatness. Okay? You can't just go grocery shopping, have rotten food in the refrigerator, and try to put fresh food in the refrigerator when there's a whole bunch of rotten stuff that you need to make space for those fresh things that you just bought. You can't just leave the rotten stuff in there. You gotta throw it away. Like, it's past, it's due. It's like, it's stinking up real bad. It's not Okay, it's time to throw away the trash. And you have to accept the fact that the thing that you really wanted to be one way was not, it turned into trash. Okay, it turned into it needs to be released, it needs to be let go, it needs to be put in the compost. Listen, it needs to be transmuted. And so now is the time where you go food shopping. You threw out the rotten food, and now you need to go food shopping, and you need to envision the food that you will be cooking. What is it that you want to eat? Hello, what is it that you want to eat? What have you been craving? What have you been craving that you weren't getting before? That whatever you bought before was just not hitting, and it just expired too quickly. It was just not it. It was just not it. What are you craving? What are you gonna need? What spices do you need it to have? Okay, all of these things you need to fuel into this vision. Work with the Pisces energy in a productive way, especially as we're getting closer to Pisces season. Just trust me, end of the year energy, astrologically, end of the year energy. Focus on your vision. Pisces season can be such a torturous time if you're hung up on shit that's never gonna go anywhere but the past. Like, it can be torturous because Pisces do like to sulk on their emotions and the things that happened in the past, in the moments. They love to just like relive it. Why do you think we get music? Why do you think we get different forms of art? Because they rule that. Right? But even artists themselves, once they put out the album and go on tour and sing the song done 100,000 times, they're over it. They don't want to sing it anymore. Literally every artist is like, okay, I'm tired of singing this song. Like, I need to write something else. I'm tired of singing about my ex. Like, I'm done. I don't want to sing about it anymore. Like, even they themselves, they use it as a release, a form of release, to write about like their experience. It comes out, you know, everybody's listening to it, whatever. And then the second they have to continuously sing it and sing it and sing it, it can be healing for them as well. But there's so many artists that just be like, I don't want to sing the song anymore. And then if it turns into a massive hit and they have to continuously sing it all the time, they just get so irritated by the song itself. And this is what I mean by, when it comes to Pisces energy, there's a lot of different nuances. And because Pisces energy is so, it's an ocean. You never know what you're going to find in the ocean. You never know where it's going to ebb and flow. You never know what whale's just going to come out of nowhere. You never know if it's going to be a dolphin or a shark. Like, you never know. It's an ebb and flow of things. But you have to, like, either take control of the ship or get rocked by a giant wave in the middle of nowhere. Like, you have to kind of direct the way your ship wants to navigate the ocean waters. And that includes where you're at emotionally, subconsciously. That includes what you're putting your energy into. And that includes on how much more you want to sulk. Okay, how much more do you want to sulk on the expired food? Can we just talk about how that's like the best analogy for this for this reading today? It's the expired food. Okay, it's the expired food. Is that, why are you wasting time? For what? What was the reason? Okay, don't make me go Cardi B in this reading, because I absolutely will. At any point in time, we'll be going Cardi B in this reading. But no, what is the reason at this point? Like, you're not going to have a future with this person. It's not going to go anywhere. Why are you still feeding the thing that, like, it's not going to go anywhere? Y'all know I'm a Capricorn. I just straight up keep it 100, because at one point, you know, it's really this. It's really that Saturnian energy that comes out of me sometimes, and then I gotta say it how it is, because that's how it is. But when it comes to Capricorn energy, our biggest pet peeve, like every Capricorn, and I've talked about this before, our biggest pet peeve. And if you want to piss us off, this is what, if you want to piss off a Capricorn, this is what you have to do. You have to waste our time. And this is on being ruled by the planet of time. If you even, like, if we made plans and then you don't cancel the plans, you have no idea how many times I've pissed off my own sister, who is a Capricorn, just like having to cancel a plan, and then she just gets mad at me for like a day because we don't like our time being wasted, because we have a hyper awareness of time, because we're ruled by the planet of time, and we always have to hold ourselves accountable through time. So, and when I see, like, this is when, you know, sometimes like the Pisces energy conflicts with my very grounded Capricorn energy, when I'm trying to like understand aspects of them. Sometimes it'd be like, okay, but can you just stop? Can you just stop doing it? Because Pisces can dwell in relationships and exes and people and in moments for years. Okay, they will give years into contemplating, and this is why Pisces themselves tend to always be in love with their exes. That's like the Pisces thing. Like that's especially when it comes to relationships, they just tend to be in love with their exes all the time. But when it comes to me, as someone who is very like strong, like, you know, like, where it's a make it make sense. Like, to me, if it doesn't make sense, why am I doing it? You know what I mean? That's just some Capricorn thing, right? So when it comes to me, when I see someone wasting time purposely, like they know they're doing it, they don't really want to do anything about it, but then they're complaining about their lives. That's when it's cute. That's when it's, oh, but I wish my life was like this, or I wish I had a partner like this, or la 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 la. And then I'm like, but you still hung up on home boy, girl, they, them, whomever that you have not let go, and it's still just taking up space when they've been moved on and are literally with a whole ass other person. Like, if there was one sign that needed to do cord cuttings after probably every relationship, it's a Pisces, okay? Because it pains my soul to see them waste time. Sometimes it really does. I generally, when it comes to Capricorn energy, that hyper awareness of time, we don't like wasting time. We don't like wasting time. We're a cardinal sign too, so it's like we got things to do. There's things to do. There's things to do, places to be, people to see. There's always something to do. Like we're literally busy. We're busy. But this energy is it's giving. I don't want to let it go. I don't. But they were so great in that one moment. It's just like, we were not good together, but they were so great, and they had moments that they were so great. And it's like, it's the romanticizing and only remembering the good parts, but then forgetting about the bad parts up until they want to feel pain. Because that's kind of the other thing about the water signs that you need to understand. The water signs do self-trigger themselves emotionally, occasionally. Especially when they need to feel something. Okay. Pisces is really, really good at this, because they, once something feels really, really good, like for a while, like once they're in this kind of cloud where, like, let's say they're in a healthy relationship somehow, especially toxic Pisces, I have to say that toxic Pisces, when they're in a healthy relationship, they want drama. They want to be bothered about something. They want to be hot and bothered about something. You have to understand, it comes from the fact that Pisces energy, Pisces needs to be inspired. They need to be caught up in a movie. They need to go through the experience of life. Why is that? Because they're the 12th sign. They are the sign that rules over reflection, which means that in order to continuously process things, they need to continuously be fed a different experience. So it's kind of like a needing. This is one of the reasons why I highly recommend Pisces placements period have creative spaces to be able to tap into different realms, different worlds, different things. Like they should be listening to music, they should be reading, they should be absorbing different types of content, because they can't live all experiences, but they can definitely, because they rule all forms of entertainment. for those who didn't know. All forms of entertainment, music, writing, like books, any creative thing that you can think of is ruled by Pisces. Any creative thing that you can think of is ruled by Pisces. And so they are the best at tapping into and using creation to create something out of their experiences, because they rule reflection. Okay? Because they rule reflection. They can dream worlds in their minds. But the thing is that sometimes that power, which is a beautiful power, by the way, can let them be stuck mentally in relationships that been, came, and went. That they conveniently choose to, you know, forget about the why it didn't work out. Instead, romanticize the person or the moments that they experienced in order to kind of feel something. Pisces don't like being numb. Okay? They don't like being numb. They need to feel something. But the thing is that there is a real, like a positive way of doing that. There's a neutral way of doing that. And there's a toxic way of doing that. Where you're actively just trying to just not even desensitize yourself, but sensitizing yourself to feeling something that's already past its time. It already passed its prime. It's like it's been out of your life. Like it needed to been out of your life. It exited. And you're still just like, you're still stuck on it. This is what be triggering midlife crisis as well. And this is something that we've talked about before. Because then you start thinking about, oh, I regret, maybe I should have said that. Maybe I should have said this. Maybe it was, maybe if I would have said that, maybe it would have ended up like this. Sometimes you need to accept that your choices are your choices and other people's choices are other people's choices. And sometimes your choices don't align with other people's choices. And that is okay. If you are actively stuck in a mental fantasy with someone who has very clearly moved on, then you're creating a world that you're only able to exist in your head, but never will be able to materialize. And that's when the energy gets toxic. That's when it's like, okay, so you want this, but then like, you know, you stuck up here with the past, and then you're like, okay, but it's because I'm alone. It's because I'm alone. But okay, but like, if it was as clear as day, like you're not gonna have this person. This is not gonna be the person. Y'all, if it was that simple, sometimes, I mean, granted, if you ask your ancestors and spirits, and I do think that some people are afraid to ask their spirits and their ancestors if like someone is meant for them, because they know that if they get an answer that they don't want to hear, it's gonna like feel bad. I feel like people avoid that, but trust and believe. If you ask your spirits like, hey, so is this, am I gonna end up with this person? Is this long term? Is this it? And again, this is coming from my hyper awareness of time, because I don't like to waste time. Capricorn things. We don't like to waste time. We're notorious for not wanting to invest time in relationships or people that we're not trying to make a long-term commitment with. That's why I always tell people, if you want to know if a Capricorn likes you, you'll know, because we will make it obvious. We will make it obvious. Oh my God. Fear and avoidance. There is a lot of fear. I feel like there's, in part, is a fear of being alone. In part, there's a fear of like not being happy. There's a fear of not also being with the partner that is your lifetime partner. There's a lot of like layers there. There's a lot of layers. But the thing is that, you know, that person, that ex-partner is not, they're not it though. So if they're not it, so where are you going? Moving forward, where are you going? Confusion and misunderstood. Fear and avoidance and confusion and misunderstood. One of the other things that and this happens all the time, that I feel like people get really stuck on is when people move funny in relationships. Especially when you're like dating someone and everything's great at first, and then all of a sudden it just switched, and then now it's just like, and then it just went sideways, and then all of a sudden it's over, and it's like, what? It's so great. Now I'm like confused. Like, what happened? Did I do something? Like, then you start questioning yourself. Then you're just like, oh, what? It's almost like hard to like you feel vulnerable to like meeting someone else or something, because you don't want somebody to just kind of do you like that, for you to feel a connection all of a sudden being ripped away from you. But there's that saying that, you know, if somebody wanted to, they would. And I think that saying is a really powerful saying, because a lot of people don't like to accept that that is not only the truth, but a reality. As much as you are confused about something, or even if you think there's a misunderstanding, or even if you think that, oh, maybe there's a reason, maybe there's a, you know, like something that you need to know. If someone wanted to give you clarity, they absolutely would take the effort to give you clarity. If someone prioritized your peace of mind and actually cared about you, that is something that they would want, you know, to clear up. So you're on the same page. Not on different pages, not on different roads, but on the same page. And one of the things that people have a hard time accepting is that that person doesn't care enough about you to give you the clarity and the peace of mind that you need, because you're not a priority in their life. And because you're not a priority in their life, you're going to stay confused until you choose to stay confused. Because the truth is plain as day. If they cared enough, you would know that. That would have been cleared up. You wouldn't be sitting here 3 months later like, but Abby, but I don't know, because that one moment and all of a sudden, you wouldn't be sitting here telling me none of that. So if somebody left you in a state of confusion, which has triggered aspects of you feeling alone, feeling lonely, feeling vulnerable, feeling a little traumatized, like, why did you just like bond like is attraction and lust and anger and spite? Like some of you are like in a love to hate, like why, like why did you do me like that? But at the same time, it's like but I was so attracted to you. Like, what happened? Some of you need to accept that people move the way they move with purpose. With purpose. Some of you need to accept that you can't make excuses for some people. You will not be able to make excuses for, because they are actively choosing their actions. Okay, they're choosing how they're moving. Okay, and those actions are clear as day. And if they wanted to take the time to correct their actions and bring clarity or enlightening information to their actions, they would have reached out and communicated with you. If someone is not making you a priority, why are you still feeding them your energy? Why are you still feeding them your emotional energy, your intuitive energy, your vision? Why are you keeping them in your vision? Why are you blocking your own manifestations, your own future, your own damn happily ever after to like feed like someone who's trying to leave you on red? Clearly. Okay. It's time to accept the truth. Because why? Because we're preparing for greatness. We're preparing for greatness. There is no, like, it might not look great now. It might not look like it's fun to experience now. It might not look like what you want it to look like. But you're still preparing yourself for greatness. There's still that direction in which you're headed that is going to be in alignment with your path. There's still people that you will meet that are in alignment with your path and that are not going to sit here and just keep you on red. Okay. People who care about you are not going to focus on allowing you to mentally lead yourself into your own narratives, because they'd rather talk to you instead. They'd rather know what you're thinking. They'd rather like get into your head and see like, hey, what's going on? Why you know, what's going on? They'd rather do that. Serenity. Okay. Value quiet days with only the rustling leaves breaking the silence. Breaking the silence. Like, notice, like, you know how they say silence speaks louder than words? Silence does speak louder than words sometimes. Sometimes silence is exactly what you needed to hear. It's not fun. I'm not saying it's fun, but it can be truthful to someone's intentions. Then we have radiance. Keep your head held high and follow the sun. There's a reason for this. That Leo moon, man. Oh my God. That Leo moon, it triggered the vitality and the ego in a way where it's like, for many, putting you back on track with yourself. There's going to be moments where you're still going to feel alone or feel like, you know, apprehensive. But that Leo moon was powerful for you to focus inward into yourself in preparation for greatness. I keep bringing that up because I really need y'all to understand that this year, this upcoming year, is going to be really, really powerful and intense. Okay, there's going to be a lot of shifts. There's going to be a lot. Okay, a lot. And it's going to be grounding in unexpected ways. Okay. There was this TikTok that I saw today that was like, oh, in Kenya, there was the ground is breaking and the continent of Africa is breaking in half. And I was like, what? Like, Uranus and Taurus energy has been triggering the planet in many ways, especially with climate change. But Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Okay. And it's getting ready to move into Taurus. And while that's going to make a lot of shifts, and again, it will manifest in different ways for everybody. because everybody has Taurus in a different place, right? But it's going to be very powerful, very grounding, but also groundbreaking, okay, to the realignments that we need to be in for us to be in this space. Because Taurus doesn't want to be mad about nothing. Taurus is very like, while Taurus and Pisces can kind of vibe in that way, Taurus is the sign that wants to feel good. They just want to have a good time. They just want to feel good. They want to live life. They just want to feel good. They want to be grounded. They want to feel good. They want what they want. Okay, so the energy of that grounding that needs to happen, it's going to create a more self-centered approach to, okay, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? That's part of what that Leo moon was exposing. Like, okay, do you really want this? Is this getting in the way of you, of your greatness? Are you getting anywhere from being in this? To then, as we move towards the new astrological year, everything starts to shift. And then the focus is, okay, well, I can't stay grounded in this anymore. This is not something that I can create a stable life or vision, or I just can't create a stable, thing with this just brewing in my mind. These moments just brewing in my mind. Like, it's time to move towards the stable thing that I have been wanting to brew with my mind, right? Release, lighten your load. Preparation for greatness. When you are preparing to go on an adventure, or even like, let's say you're going foraging or harvesting, or you're doing something where it's like, you will be collecting something. You need to leave space in your suitcase. You can't just pack the whole thing, or then you're not really gonna be able to bring stuff back, and that's gonna be annoying because then you're gonna fall in love with stuff that you're gonna want, and then you can't bring it back because there's not no space, and then you're gonna have to pay a whole extra fee. Like, it's about being tactical with what you release, why you're releasing it. When you're lightening your load, you are accepting and making space in your life for the things that you are trying to collect, the things that you are trying to harvest. So as we prepare for greatness, we are making space for those great things to come in, for those shifts to come in. They can't, like, your life cannot continue to, like, be half-ass great. Unless that's what you want. If you want to keep it that way, that's totally fine. You can do whatever you want to. It's your life. But trust and believe that the transits will have something to say about it. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. Let us not forget that Saturn will be going into Pisces this year. There will be karmic consequences for wasting time on things that been needed to move past from. I'm just saying. Y'all got some people living in the past in your mind that were one-hit wonders. And they couldn't move. There was never anything more than that. Like, it was just like they were a one-hit wonder. They were not able to grow past that, whether by choice, whether by whatever it was. And so as you come into your greatness, you have to decide if you want subpar experiences, subpar people, who actively did not give you as much energy as you should have been receiving. Like, if you still want to hold space for them in that greatness, in that future, in your vision for your life. Does that make sense? Is that going to make you happy? Are you going to regret it later? Are you going to regret giving this so much of your time? It's time to prepare for greatness. Okay? We're going on a trip. We're going somewhere. It's time to pack. It's time to go somewhere new. It's time to do something different. Which means that you need to release the baggage of confusion that you've been dealt with certain relationships and situations that just have been rotting in your fridge, and you really need to throw the rotten food out. It's time. It's time. You need to eat something new. You need to eat something fresh for your health, for your well-being, for your future. Okay? It's time. It's time. It's time. It's like an empty space that you get to make your own. Okay? Your future is an empty space that you get to make your own. You can't do the future and bring people that are not even in your current into that future to create that space. You can't. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. So I implore you not to waste your own time, because you're just going to regret it later. And then you'll be like, oh, damn, I remember what Abby said not to do that, but I did it anyway, and here I am. Like, just save yourself the, damn, why did I do that shit? Save yourself that conversation with yourself so you're not, like, wasting your time. And just let it go. Let it go. It's time to release. It's time to, like, it's that, okay, we're planting soon for spring, like the spring blooming and all of these things. You're starting off fresh. It's a new garden, a new, just, you're starting fresh. Okay? Don't bring the weeds that you're not going to do anything with into this new garden from the past house that you lived at. Like, there's no point. You're in a whole new space. Okay? Let the world be your oyster. Let it. It's like I don't know if I think it's the crabs, or is it the snails, or is it, I don't remember what the animal is called, but the one that switches the shell, like when they outgrow the smaller shells, it's the hermit crab, and they outgrow the smaller shells, and they have to keep getting the bigger shells because now they have grown enough within themselves that they have to have a new space. You have outgrown that other shell. Stop trying to carry it with you into your new shell. You're not going to fit. It's not going to work. You're going to be mad about putting in all of this effort where you don't need to put it. Like, save yourself some energy, some time, some tears, okay? And just focus on releasing and preparing yourself for the year to come. Bottom of the deck is persevere. Leave no stone left unturned. You got stuff to do, places to be, people to see, people to meet, experiences to have, like, a bright future. So instead of sulking, instead of lingering, like, it's time to write the album. Okay, going back to that Pisces energy, write the album, have the era of that album, and then, okay, you done released it, you done put it in music, you done expressed your thoughts and feelings. Now it's time to write the second album, and that's a whole nother different album with a whole different vibe. So, like, it's time to just let things be their eras. Let this be a new era for you, the era of greatness. You see how it just ties back together? Anyway, that was the weekly healing circle, my loves. Thank you so much for being present, for being here. If you are just coming in randomly, and you want to rewatch the live, you can go on my YouTube, because that's where you're gonna find it, because I'm always on YouTube and on TikTok. So yeah, stay tuned for the other lives. Don't forget to sign up for the herbalism workshop that's happening on Wednesday. We have a lot of things planned, so stay tuned, and stay tuned for the next couple uploads on my YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed as well. Apparently, possibly TikTok might get banned. I don't know, but if it does, make sure you're following me on YouTube, because that's who gets most of my content anyway. Okay, I love you. I will see y'all in the next one. Stay blessed, y'all. Stay blessed. As always, just stay blessed. Bye.